So the UFC recently made a new decision, and it is the best decision they've made in a very long time. Going back to the roots, going back to what they used to do in years, they made Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko 2 most likely on a fight night card. That is what's in the works for. My cat is currently playing with a toothpick right now, but that is one of the better decisions going back to doing those type of fight night cards. And people might disagree with me. When I originally saw this, I saw it on an Instagram post by Full Violence. So I decided to go through the comment section, and people were upset. People were very uptight about this being a fight night main event. And I could not disagree more. This is perfect for a fight night main event. And I think it benefits the women involved, the fighters involved, and the UFC and the UFC fans. I think all parties in this do benefit, and there's not really a negative effect towards anyone. The main argument that I saw on Instagram was that the champion needs to be respected and they need to be on a pay-per-view main event or a pay-per-view card just in general, that they're a title holder and that it would ruin the mystique of the belt if they do fight on a fight night, which I couldn't disagree more. I don't care about Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko. I just really don't care, and the majority of people really don't care that much about it. Now, when I say I don't care, I don't mean that I'm not hyped or I'm not looking forward to watching this fight, because I am. Truthfully, I am looking forward to this fight night card when it happens in September. But what I mean by I don't care, and I heard this from Lucas Tracy, and I couldn't agree more, is that I don't care enough to pay $80 to watch these two women fight. And the majority of fans in general do not care enough to pay $80 for these two girls to headline a pay-per-view main event. The Canada fans were pretty much screwed over, and everybody was saying that Charles Oliveira versus Beneil Dariush was carrying the card when Amanda Nunes was headlining it. So to prevent that from happening and putting Shevchenko versus Grasso 2 on a fight night card solves all of those issues. You're not taking as much damage in terms of pay-per-view sales, and you're promoting a really good fight night card, a really stacked and fun fight night that people can watch for free. More people are going to tune in to watch Shevchenko versus Grasso 2 than they would have on a pay-per-view. That's just a plain out truth. There wouldn't be as much spotlight on these two women without them being on a fight night card. That's just a simple fact. People do not want to pay $80 for a main event of a pay-per-view that they're just mildly excited for. They want to pay for one where they're super hyped and they're really excited to watch it, and they can't wait to see this main event, this championship fight. And so putting these two women on there saves the UFC money. It helps them out with their ESPN deal because they're struggling with that. That is their main struggle when it comes to pay-per-view sales, because none of these guys in the UFC right now, besides Conor McGregor, can sell 1 million pay-per-views. Not even with the right matchups. John Jones can't do it. Adesanya can't do it. Anybody in the lower weight classes can't do it. None of these champions can sell 1 million pay-per-views besides Conor McGregor. So the UFC has to figure out ways to avoid fights that might not be the most promotable on a pay-per-view. So let's go ahead and shift over Shevchenko versus Grasso 2, or flip that around. Let's shift them over to a fight night main event and then find other fights that we can stack on an actual pay-per-view card. That leaves more room for UFC 293. That's in September, I believe. That leaves more room for that card to be even more stacked and not have a title fight on it that's taken up by these two women who might not bring the most interest. I'm sorry, that's how it is. I'm not trying to be weird about women's. I do like these two fighters. I will be excited to watch them, but in terms of being a draw and being big names, they're not the most promotable in that sense. That's just simply how it is. It's just the fact of the matter. It's the reality of the world that we live in, and that's how it has to be. And think about it, when you truly break it down, are you going to be more hyped for Shevchenko versus Grasso 2 now than you would have on a pay-per-view card? It doesn't really do anything, does it? What I mean by that is that whether it's on a pay-per-view card or on a fight night card, it won't change your level of excitement for it. So why bitch about it? I don't know, because the championship, the belt is such a high prestige that it should only be on a pay-per-view card? No, fuck that. We should be able to do whatever we want with our pay-per-view cards that make it sell the most. And if Shevchenko versus Grasso is not going to sell, then don't put it on a pay-per-view card. It's just as simple as that. And the UFC has strayed away from this ideology for years now. I think the last one we had a title fight on a fight night card was back in like 2019, I believe. I think it was Andrade versus Weili Zhang. Yeah, I think it was that one. But that was the last time we ever had a championship fight on a fight night card. And they should have been doing this, I think, years ago. I think once things got figured out with the virus situation, we should have been right back on track doing these fight night champ bouts and really figuring out how we can make our pay-per-views more stacked. Imagine if we found another fight for the Amanda Nunes versus Irene Aldana one and had that be a main title fight, somebody who could replace that. Canada would have been at least a halfway decent card with a better title fight on it, but we had to make do with what we had, and the only people that were available during that time period was Nunes versus Aldana, so that had to be done. I can't really blame the UFC about that. People weren't fighting in what was it, May? I forget. No. I forget when it was. And if you're still watching this video and you're not convinced and you think the UFC is doing something dirty or doing their female fighters dirty, and that this fight should be on a pay-per-view card, let me tell you this. This fight is being targeted for September 16th, which is Mexican Independence Day. With Grasso being a Mexican champ right now, this would fit well with that. Having a big fight night card on Mexican Independence Day would help the UFC bring in a market. So honestly, they're doing Grasso probably a bigger favor by putting this on Mexican Independence Day. They're making this a big holiday, and the UFC is showing that they at least want to act like they care about the Mexican market, which indeed they do. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw a bunch of bouts or a bunch of fights being made that involve Mexicans or people who have Mexican heritage. It's going to be a great day of fights with a bunch of Mexican nationalism tied to it, and I couldn't be more excited for this, and it's free. So it benefits all of us. A free fight night with a championship bout on it is the pinnacle fight nights, and that is going to be a fun day to stream and fun day to watch, and you get it for free, not $80. You get this fight for free. For free! Obviously, it's not technically for free. You have to have cable or ESPN Plus or whatever you can to watch this. But it's, like $10, $5 to pay for this fight opposed to $80 for ESPN Plus. So you're definitely getting your money's worth if you do have ESPN Plus. But whatever, I'm so glad that this is going to be on a fight night main event. It makes this card really worth watching. I look forward to watching it. I'm excited for these two women to get it done. Hopefully Shevchenko probably does redeem herself, but honestly, I do not care who really wins. Maybe Grasso should win because it's Mexican Independence Day, and that would make a great rising for her. So I don't care either way. I'm excited to watch this fight. That's all I have for you guys today. Make sure to guys like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. I would surely appreciate it. Peace.